class, it's me. I got a couple questions on a couple problems that were similar, so I wanted to go ahead and do a walkthrough based on how I would do the calculation. So let me go ahead and get started. This is the problem that I'm going to use as an example. It says Rhonda Brennan found her first job after graduating from college through the classifieds of the Miami Herald. She was delighted when the offer came through at $16 per hour. She completed her W-4 stating that she is married with a child and claims an allowance of 3. Her company will pay her bi-weekly for 80 hours. Assume a tax rate of 6.2% on $118,500 for Social Security and 1.45% for Medicare. Calculate her take-home pay for her first check. Okay, so I want to do a walkthrough, kind of showing you how I would do this. I have not actually calculated out this problem yet, so I'm going to pull up my calculator and hopefully we can get through this. Oh, I hate it when it hides. Okay. All right, so the first thing we want to do is find out what gross wages are. And gross wages are going to be the hourly rate times hours. In this case, we don't have any overtime that we have to worry about. Sometimes there's vacation time and we have to kind of pull that out a little bit separate just on a paycheck. But this is a pretty straightforward item. So we're going to take her hourly rate, 16, and we're going to multiply it by 80 hours. She is being paid bi-weekly. As a reminder, bi-weekly means that there are 24 pay periods in a year. No. That's a lie. 26. Bi-monthly would be 24. Okay, great. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and take her hourly wages of 16. I'm going to multiply it by 80 to get gross wages of 1,280. All right, so that's the first step. And because we know she worked 80 hours for that bi-weekly pay period, that's why I went ahead and used the 80. There's nothing more there to figure out. And you don't want to break it into weekly, but we can assume that her weekly is 40. We're also assuming no overtime or anything in this case. Okay, so that's step 1. I'll put that here. Step 2. For step 2, I usually start with Social Security, and then step 3 will be Medicare. So let me first explain what this $118,500 means. Social Security is only taxed on wages up to $118,500. So let's say that you made $1 million in 1 year. Of that $1 million, only $118,500 would be taxed for Social Security. It kind of gives a certain level of equality on the max that everyone can receive from Social Security for retirement purposes. So anyone who makes over that, they're not going to get Social Security on wages in excess of $118,500. So that's really not an issue for this problem, but they're just putting it in there so that you understand that this is the max amount that Social Security can be taxed on. Okay, so let me give you a quick example and then I'm going to erase it. Let's say that I made $1 million last year. Wouldn't that be wonderful? I'm going to subtract out the max of $118,000. Again, this has nothing to do with this problem. I'm just giving you an example. That means, what was the number that it gave me? Oh, let's see. 881,500, hopefully that's right, 881,500 of wages would be non-taxable for Social Security purposes, okay? And you could assume if you're making that much money, you're going to be you're not counting on Social Security for your retirement. It's like a bonus, right? If you're making that much, you probably have an investment account, you have a brokerage account, you have someone managing your investments in your retirement, okay? So that's why there's a cap or a max on it. All right, so step 2, we're going to calculate Social Security. And we are just concerned with her deduction, okay? So normally the employer pays the other half of this. So this is one portion for the employee, and the other half is the same rate also for the employer, okay? So we're going to take her gross wages of $1,280, and we're going to multiply it by 0.062, which is 6.2%. 79.36. Okay. Step 3, we're going to calculate Medicare. So we take her wages and we multiply it by 0.0145 or 1.45%. And we get 1856. Okay, so that's step 1, step 2, and step 3. Now let's remember it's asking us to calculate her take-home pay, so that's her net pay after these taxes and her federal withholding are subtracted. Now normally there would also be state withholding that we'd have to calculate, but we're not worried about that for our purposes here, okay? All right, so let me take a quick look at our tables, which one I want to use. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to figure out